Here it is, the final video in the most exciting trilogy you'll ever watch on YouTube. Well, okay, maybe that's not so true, but if you're installing the engine guard and upper crash bar on your Honda Africa Twin, then this is the video for you. If you've been following along at home, you now have the mounts and the engine guard installed. Without delay, let's install the upper crash bars. As I mentioned in the first episode of the series, I'm going to drop this bike a lot, so this install is necessary. I'm pretty excited to share all my adventures with you, including every time I drop the AT. If you want to see that, hit the subscribe button. If by the end of this video you found it helpful, hit that like button. It's super helpful for this channel. I covered the tools you'll need for this job in the first video of this series, and I'll do the same here in a moment. But I'll start by saying that the installation instructions are the most valuable tool you'll use. If your dealership didn't provide them to you, there should be a QR code in each box that would provide a PDF of the installation instructions. Here are the tools you'll need. If you don't have all of them, check the description. I have links to many of these tools. A screwdriver. A Phillips head will work for this job, but if you plan on doing extensive work on Honda bikes, a JIS head, like the Vessel one I'm using, will be invaluable. 10 and 12 millimeter sockets. 5 and 6 millimeter hex sockets, though you'll see that a hex key might work better in some steps. A ratchet wrench. Socket extensions. I used a 6-inch and a 3-inch extension in this installation. 10 and 12 millimeter box end wrenches, though if you have ratcheting wrenches, the job will be easier. A torque wrench. The installation instructions have a handy torque chart, but if for some strange reason you don't have the instructions, I have the torque values in the description. We're at the point now where we can button up the exhaust and snap the lean air filter sensors and cowls back into place. Let's move to the front of the bike where we will install the middle of the upper crash bar. Here we'll remove the lowest nut and bolt with two 12 millimeter wrenches. Put a closed end on one side and a ratchet end on the other, and wrench away. You could use a 12 millimeter socket here, but it's pretty tight, so I opted for the ever useful ratcheting wrench. Once you get the nut and bolt out, make sure you save the bolt. You will reuse it. Let's move over to the bench. Now, insert the grommet on either side of the front pipe center stay. This was a bit of a challenge. Warming your grommets up a bit might help soften them up a touch. My impact screwdriver helped a bit here. Once the grommets are installed, slide the collars onto the grommets on the outer side of both sides. With each section of the bars laid out in the orientation you'll install it on the bike, install the front center pipe onto the left and right side pipes. With the 5 hands you have, loosely install the center stay to the other 3 pipes with a 6 millimeter bolt and nut. The bolt should be on the inside and the nut should be on the outside. I don't have 5 hands, so I braced the whole shebang against my tool wall. That somewhat helped with the assembly. With a little patience, you'll get it all together. If you have previously installed the engine guard, let's head to both sides of the bike and remove the front nuts and bolts. Next, using the 6 millimeter bolt nut we saved from the front of the bike, install the assembled bar to the mount, using the lower bolt hole of the mount and bar assembly. In the upper holes, use an 8 millimeter bolt and nut. Tighten the bolts with the same 12 millimeter wrenches we used earlier to remove the bolts. Just tighten these loosely. We'll need some movement to install the side pipes. Head over to the left side of the bike and install the left side pipe with an 8 millimeter nut and bolt and spacer. Loosely tighten them with a 12 millimeter ratchet on the inside and a 10 millimeter closed end wrench on the outside. Again, I don't have 5 hands, so to help hold things together, I use this vice grips. Now I'll do the same on the right side. Look at this! We have the upper crash bar on the bike. Okay, we're not done yet though. Let's tighten things up. Torque all 6 millimeter nuts to 9 foot-pounds, all 8 millimeter cap nuts to 20 foot-pounds, and finally, all 8 millimeter flange nuts to 24 foot-pounds. But here's where I prefer to use the Gutentite torque spec. Alright, let's reinstall the exhaust heat shield and skid plate. Finally, let's reattach the negative cable of the battery and put the toolbox back over the battery area. That's looking good. Alright, before we go, we gotta do one last thing. We need to check if there's any exhaust leaks. So let's roll the bike out into the driveway, start her up. It's a bit cold today, but we still should be able to see some exhaust leaks if there are any. Well, I think I lucked out here. I don't see any exhaust leaks. Now once the snow disappears, I'll be able to do some riding. Thanks for watching, ride safe, seek adventure, and keep your wheels rolling in the right direction. I'll see you in the next video.